I was able to figure out that I already had a backup account on Quora, so I'm still there. I found something so wonderfully written that I'm moved to share it and read it. Mhm. Share, share. Okay. Share it. Ah, myself. Mhm. What blocks a spiritual awakening? The most fundamental answer is this: the assumption that the ego, I, me, entity exists as a separate entity. In reality, there is no separate entity, but as long as there is a belief that it is real, that entity will go on a journey to awaken. It will expend energy and time to become enlightened, and it will search and search to find the right method of awakening through endless seeking. And hopefully, it won't take decades to achieve that. It will even define itself as a seeker on a spiritual journey and take a certain amount of pride in that. Ego sees awakening as a goal that will happen sometime in the future and won't believe it's possible to be awake in this very moment. How can that be? Ego will ask when presented with this idea. And there's the rub that people in its own reality and disbelief in the possibility of being awake this very moment. As I mentioned in the first paragraph, the ego entity isn't real. It's only an illusion created by thinking that has hidden itself in the subconscious mind. Most people spend their entire lives assuming that I am real and separate from everyone and everything else, and have never been considered the possibility that the assumption isn't true. It is this assumption that must be investigated for yourself. So, see if you can find something substantial that is the I look for, and see if you find it, if you can find it. Ask yourself, who, what am I really? And then see what is discovered. If you look honestly, you won't find anything other than storylines about me that are filled in the memory bank. Stories will be found that give the impression of separate me, but those stories are only constructed out of thoughts. What you will discover is that your current identity is nothing but scaffolding of changing thoughts that will collapse like a house of cards. Then you discover what you really are. Realizing directly that you cannot be a thought structure created by thinking brings you to the precipice of awakening. The deeper reality underneath thinking is that which is aware of thought, pure consciousness. That's what you really are, pure consciousness. Ever-changing thoughts, feelings, sensory impressions, and experience arise within consciousness, within your true nature. It is consciousness that knows, that illuminates everything that arises. But heretofore, it's been overlooked in favor of changing phenomena. Why is it overlooked? Because unlike forms, thoughts, objects, feelings, sensations, it is formless, it is silent, still, it is unconditionally peaceful and content. But when attention is redirected away from its outward focus on changing phenomena and discovers the underlying reality of formless consciousness, your whole system of belief in a separate and real me becomes undermined. The belief In and attachment to that me withers away the more you familiarize yourself with consciousness. This is the awakening that is available in every moment. There is no actual journey to awaken, only a realization of what's already present. In the end, it's only a whole bunch of misconceptions that are blocking this realization. And the most fundamental misconception that is blocking awakening in the illusory me, you, illusory me entity you identify with. Wow, that was magical.